Live,
We
live.
are live.
Living. Live. Live.
Hell yeah.
Love to hear it.
We back, baby.
We back.
I just got a notification that we're live, in case anyone was wondering.
How many how many episodes have we done of this?
I think
Like
this is
12,
the 10th.
13?
I think 10th or 11th,
Right, yeah.
somewhere in there.
Probably around 10.
Yeah. Been some obviously I think on the graphic it says weekly Q&A. We definitely
hasn't quite been weekly, but that's okay.
Well, there was
not really our thought, given the fact that baseball off season drags on completely.
Yeah,
so
there was
there was nothing.
6-week stretch where nothing happened. So
Yeah, and even in the last few weeks, nothing's really happened.
yeah,
Like ever
well,
since
at least
Bauer
now we
signed,
have
it's kind of
spring.
been- now we just have like actual baseball, but like
Right.
the last few weeks, it's just kind of been like Bauer signed, and then that's it.
Right.
I heard some stories this week.
Okay, gotta spread the word a little bit, and then we will get going here.
Retweet at everyone.
At everyone.
RT,
At everyone.
Man, our season preview graphics, by the way, are unreal.
They are ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
If you didn't see
Like,
those,
The Royals one.
yeah.
The Royals ones.
It's
No,
my
the
favorite
Tampa Bay
thing.
Rays one is also unbelievable.
Have you? Yeah.
The last now one? Oh my, dude, he's like half underwater.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so.
And there's more coming too. Cop, did you see the Yankees one today?
Yeah, that's just slick. Like it's like simple. It's just
It's so good.
so slick.
Plenty of great. Those will be on all of our season preview articles, and we're probably gonna tweet them too to get them the exposure they deserve.
I'm obsessed with the like graffiti and then the crown with the Royals one.
Oh,
Like
I
that
know,
is
dude.
just
It's so
so
good.
sick.
It's so good.
It's elite.
Okay, so yeah, here we go. We're live. Question 1. Looking ahead to 2021, which is we've been doing it for a while, but it's what we'll be doing for the most part tonight. Who is your breakout hitter and pitcher from each league in 2021?
Everyone knows my pitcher, so Cop, you can go first.
For pitching, let me try to think about this. I keep thinking. I'm trying to not. I don't want to say Yankees, so like I'm just going through the other teams
Oh, I'm
to
gonna
avoid
be
saying.
at least one of my hitters is I'm 100% shameless. Is my own guy.
Yeah, my pitcher obviously is my own guy.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, I'm gonna then the guy that I've been thinking of that I want to say is Jameson Tyone.
Yeah.
I feel breakout is maybe a little strong given he's 29 already. He's had one really, really good season with Pittsburgh. But, I mean, he's coming off of his second Tommy John, and he's said that he just feels the best he's ever felt throwing. Like he's shortened up his arm motion and said that that he's bringing a changeup in that he's really happy with. He says sliders moving like it's never moved before. And, I mean, if he's able to stay healthy, I think that was a really good move by the Yanks. And I'm really excited to see what he has to do. I think he could really put himself as a 1 or 2 starter in the rotation. I mean, maybe not in the Yankees rotation, but just as a potential 1 or 2 starter in any rotation.
Sure.
So I'm really excited to see what he has to do.
Sure.
Scott, who's your pitcher?
Spencer Turnbull, as famously
masses
have
know.
been saying.
Top 20
for
pitcher in
about-
baseball?
Yeah, exactly. See, you already know the campaign. Spencer Turnbull is going to be a top 20 starter in baseball. And there's nothing anyone, you, me, or your mother can do about it. So you might as well just buckle up and enjoy the ride because it's going to be a hell of a year. It's going to be a fun year.
Well, Evan said that my pick cannot be Adalberto Mondesi, so I'm going to go ahead and talk for a bit about why it won't be, why Adalberto Mondesi is not my pick. Adalberto Mondesi is not the answer to this question. It certainly by no means would be Adalberto Mondesi of the Kansas City Royals. Plays shortstop. He's fast. He's got pop in his bat. He plays great defense, but he's not my
For
pick.
sure.
No, sir, he's not my pick. So, I don't know. I have to actually think beyond him.
The relief of Ev.
let's see. I gotta think about this one.
Do you have a pitcher?
Do I have a pitcher?
Off the top of your head?
No. I put these questions together and I don't. Apparently, I don't spend enough time thinking about what my answers to them will be.
Cop? Who's your hitter?
My hitter, I'm gonna go with Vlad Jr. I think that he obviously to this point he hasn't lived up to the hype that was. I mean, the generational hitting prospect that he kind of had with it when it came up, but. I hate the best shape of his life conversation that we always have.
Man, he's like 22 and he's already getting best shape of his life now. Like that's usually a veteran thing.
Yeah.
Dude lost 42 pounds this offseason.
He did.
That is crazy. A lot of weight to lose. And I mean, I still believe in his bat. I think, and you should believe in his bat. So I think that this could be the year that he finally puts it all together and maybe get himself in that, live up to the hype, at least some part of it, because the hype was so insane.
Yeah. Sure. It I don't know. I mean, I don't know that he's necessarily my pick if I'm thinking pitchers, but I think I've definitely seen Framber Valdez thrown around a whole lot as a guy that's going to be a real stud, starting pitching wise. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like the pitchers I know best are Cubs and Royals, obviously, and I feel like I'm not. I don't want to say that I'm confident enough in any one pitcher that the Royals have. I think that they will get. I think it will be a pleasant surprise, the outcome of the staff as a whole, but I don't want to put too much stock in any one of the pitchers that they do have.
Sure.
And the Cubs, it would be criminal to say any pitcher that's on the Cubs pitching staff right now is going to be a breakout candidate for this year. That's just not how that goes.
That's fair. That's very fair. My hitter, it's a big leap of faith. He had like a sub 500 OPS this year, but it's for the brand. I can't not pick him. David Dahl's return to all-star caliber play.
There we go.
Is on
Never
the
forget the Dahl to Detroit trend.
Barring an injury.
Yeah.
It's David Dahl, and it's
Can't
David Dahl
disagree.
to the moon. Absolutely to the moon. I don't think people realize how annoying I'm going to be with his highlights. I really don't think people understand how obnoxious I'm going to be about it, because there were people during that whole thing that were I got heat for that. Imagine being mad at someone for wanting 3 million AAV
Right,
David Dahl.
literally.
Anyway, so I'm gonna be so obnoxious about it. Yeah, okay, Garrett. It's definitely not Victor Reyes. I could do a whole hour about how horrible he is, but yeah, I'm gonna go Dahl as my hitter and Turnbull as my pitcher. The two most on-brand choices I could possibly make.
There you go. Well, keep feeding us your picks for breakouts. I saw Carter Kieboom in there. I don't have enough faith in him, but it could be. There's a lot of interesting answers to this question. Obviously, the point of breakout candidates is that they haven't broken out yet. So
yeah, exactly.
We shall see.
It's probably gonna be a guy that you're just fully not thinking of, because that's kind of what happens when guys break out.
Yeah. Okay, next question. Another breakout-related question. Which player that broke out in 2020 is most likely to stay at that level in 2021 and beyond?
That's a good one.
Yeah. And again, it's a question that I put together and a question that I didn't think about, so I can't just... I can't really kick us off. If you consider Tatis a breakout, I think he's going to continue being good. There's not a ton of question there. The other guys that...
I think there's... The pitcher is what makes that one interesting. I think the pitching, because, whatever 9-10 starts is such a small sample size that I think that's the really intriguing one, is if there are pitchers that maintain that level of play going forward.
Yeah, Garrett says Dylan Bundy.
That's very on brand.
Yeah.
Very on
I
brand.
actually don't hate that. I think
No,
Bundy's gonna
I
have
don't
a
either.
year.
Yeah. I mean, because that was the reason why Bundy's a good one is because that wasn't like they clearly, this coaching staff there clearly made a change with how he pitches and his usage of pitches, and he was better. It's not like, oh, he pitched the same as he always did, and he just got, you know what I mean, like got a few good breaks and was good for a third of a season. Like, there is direct cause and effect that you can physically see between when he was struggling versus last year. So I think that's a good one because we literally know why he got better. It's not just some fluke or whatever.
Yeah. Evan makes a good point. You got Randy Arozarena, Randy Agodarena.
Randy Agodarena, baby, swinging the drive.
Yeah, actually, Evan probably nailed.
That depends on what's. Although, like with the Arozarena, what is maintaining? Because the dude's not Babe Ruth. Like he's not going to continue hitting like Babe Ruth like he did in the playoffs.
He's not going to have a 1,500 OPS.
Yeah, so like he's not going to maintain that level, but he's going to have he's a really, really good player. Yeah, so he's definitely going to have a great year. So it depends on like what that metric is. Because the dude, how many regular season games did he even play?
23.
Like, he played
12, right?
He had 76
like
regular season plate appearances, and
I think he OPS'd over 1,000 at the end of the regular season too, though. To be fair,
yes,
it was 20 games, but.
Yeah, so I don't know. There's not a ton to go off with him, but I think Evan did nail what might be my actual answer, which is keep Ryan Hayes. I have full faith in him after what he did in 2020.
Sure.
And he's going to continue facing maybe the worst pitching division in baseball, at least in 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're done.
So yeah. I'm trying to think. Another guy I was looking at for this is Brandon Lau. Which one is Low and which one is Lau? Because Brandon and Nate both pronounce their last names differently. But
Brandon.
I think it's Nate Lowe and
Brandon Lau. Okay. Yeah. I don't know what to think about Brandon Lau because he in 2018 had like an 11% walk rate, 26% strikeout rate. In 2019, his offensive production increased, but his walk rate went down, his strikeout rate went up. In 2020, his offensive production increased again, with his walk rate coming back up to 11% and his strikeout rate at 26%. So if that's what his true talents are in those regards, like an 11% walk rate, 26% strikeout rate, he could very well maintain most of what he did in 2020. And he could be kind of a sleeper candidate for this that I think a lot of people forget about. It's interesting. Like he had that like 10 or 11% walk rate, 26% strikeout rate, and an 89 average exit velocity. Then in 2019, his exit velocity increased, his plate discipline got worse, and then in 2020, his plate discipline got better again, and his exit velocity went back down. So, there's no more than 330 plate appearances in any of those seasons to go off. But it seems like he's a guy that's at the very least like a 130 WRC plus true talent guy, which is. I think a lot of, even when I evaluate the Rays, I kind of forget that he's there and he's going to be a good hitter for them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't hate that one either. I think also kind of similar to Lau was Luke Voigt last year.
Oh, sure.
He kind of, because he also had that in 2019, because I remember looking at his numbers, 2019 his walk rate was super high, and then last year it went way down, but it was a drop of like 60 points in his on base, but it was replaced with an increase of 150 points in slugging because the dude was seeing the ball so well that he just was jumping at and swinging more and jumping at more pitches. So I think that may be also what happened with Lau when he's hitting the ball better. Sometimes the walk rate goes down.
Yeah.
And I could see Voigt sticking around with that because, the power is legit. It's been legit. And because when he struggles, he walks so much, he kind of gives himself a very high floor, so I definitely think that he'll have another good year. And one guy I forgot I wanted to mention, I just thought of for the last question, is Chris Archer. I feel like it's kind of tough to say he's going to break out since he already broke out, but then he fell off.
Yeah,
I think bounce back, going back to Tampa Bay, and with that coaching staff that can turn, anything into gold. I think that they'll do wonders with him back there, and I think his stuff is still legit. So I think he's gonna have a really good year.
And we can also take, Evan made a good point. We can also take this question and flip it on its head and talk about guys that are the opposite, that are going to regress after breaking out in 2021. He mentions Corbin Burns, who is probably a pretty solid answer to that. My answer to that question would be Will Myers.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I would say one of mine. I have one homer one and then one more broad one, and the broad one. Not that he's going to be like bad, but there's no way Jose Abreu replicates anything close to an MVP season ever again. Right.
Well, he didn't have an MVP. He did not have an MVP.
Right. So. Yeah. But he will not even come close to being like a finalist or top 10 in MVP ever again. That was just, he benefited greatly from that. And then my homer one is there's no way Willie Castro does what he did last year over a full season. There's absolutely a 0% chance. So.
Yeah, I would also put Salvador Perez in that category. I think he's not totally toast yet. I think he's still maybe good for like 120 WRC plus, but he had the best. By WRC plus, he was the best hitting catcher in 2021 or in 2020, and that's not happening again.
Sure. Yeah, that's probably a fair assessment.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's always interesting. You know, the guys that are kind of one-hit wonders. How do you tell who's gonna keep that
especially
up?
In 60, man.
Yeah,
that's tough.
Makes it interesting. Okay, question 3: who in the Dodgers 2021 rotation will end up with the lowest ERA?
I'm gonna go with Kershaw. I feel like I feel like Kershaw he's gonna throw less innings, I think, than Buehler and Bauer, and he'll probably end up on the IL at one point. But like, it's kind of insane how he is, like, how good Kershaw has been his entire career, just every year keeping ERA so low. I think last year it was like I think it was in the mid twos. Let me make sure of that. But like, I still think that I think Buehler's better, and I think Buehler will be better in terms of volume plus ERA, but because I think Kershaw will probably go down at some point with an injury. Yeah, 2.16 last year. But I think that when he's healthy, he'll keep that in like the mid twos.
I think this is a great question if Walker Buehler doesn't exist, but like I really. Not that somebody else won't have the lowest ERA or anything, but it's just from like a prediction standpoint. I really like, you're not going to catch me picking anyone else. Like I think Buehler's probably the I guess you would call it safest pick out of there, and whether not saying it's a guarantee or anything. They obviously have an insane rotation and just insane team in general, but I definitely think that. You'll find it pressed from a prediction standpoint to go any other direction.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, chat likes Buehler, and I think you're very correct, Scott, that it's prediction wise it's hard to pick anyone else. I have no faith that Trevor Bauer is going to do what he did in 2020 again. I don't think he's going to be that good. So my answer would be not him, if anything. I think that even Urias will have a better ERA than Trevor Bauer. If I had to go top to the bottom in terms of ERA, honestly, I don't disagree with Kopp that Kershaw might just not pitch as many innings and have the best ERA. I'd probably say like Kershaw, Buehler, Urias, Bauer, and then I don't know who's their 5. Is Gonsolin 5, or is he like farther down than that?
I think Gonsolin's 6.
Man.
Who's their 5?
Buehler, Kershaw.
Dustin May is in there somewhere, but he's not their 5.
Yeah, even he's like weird though. I don't know. There's too many.
They're not
ridiculous.
Like, just ridiculous. Oh, David Price.
Oh, David.
We're all
Price.
forgetting David Price. Yeah. And like the fact that David Price will be the number 5 starter there is ridiculous.
Yes, very.
Ridiculous.
Kershaw has more years with the Dodgers with an ERA under 2 than he does over 3.
Man. Ridiculous.
Brutal.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
no, and I think that's as good a reason as any. I mean, he's 31. I think you could very well make the case that Kershaw's the answer based on that alone. Man. Yeah, it's I don't want to think too much about that rotation because it's like it just makes me more sad about the rotations of my own teams.
For real.
Okay, next.
Yeah.
Name one candidate for this question says name one candidate for every award. You can kind of take your pick based on ones that come to mind that are not popular choices. So any unpopular.
I'm going to start this off. Okay, I'm starting this off. AL
Spencer
MVP.
Turnbull. Sorry.
So, yeah.
Well, yes, obviously that's guaranteed. I'm starting this off with. This is a train that I've been on ever since I met Christian Lloyd. He opened my eyes and showed me the light. Joey Gallo, AL MVP.
Yep.
He's my sleeper every year until it happens.
I'd
I
have
definitely
to
don't
agree.
hate that at all.
Especially since, like, compared to a lot of guys that are his type of player, you know, he's much better off defensively than a lot of guys that have similar offensive profiles. Which makes him a pretty solid pick for this, I would agree.
So for mystery
Absolutely.
for mystery choice, does that basically mean AL MVP anybody but Mike Trout? If it's not Trout, it's up for grabs, basically.
I mean, I guess. Yeah, honestly, for American League, probably. Yeah. Now that Mookie's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess Mookie's probably the NL choice for that. Or Soto is.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
So actually, I'll direct this at Evan. My candidate for the AL MVP would have to be Adalberto Mondesi, I think.
Oh my! Disgusting. Absolutely.
When he gets a full
No.
season under
Dude,
his belt,
he's gonna be insane. You guys don't even know. No.
it's one season.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Christian is saying exactly what we're saying. He has potential to be like a 15 defensive run saved guy, and also in the range of 140 to 170 WRC plus, which is just ridiculous.
Yeah, his ceiling is so high. Like it's really just a matter of whether he ever puts it all together for 1 year and we see it. His ceiling is unreal.
Yeah, I like Gallo as a pick.
Well,
I think that if he's healthy, and it's a homer pick, but I think I think a full season from Judge will always be in that conversation.
The best ability is availability.
You're
Okay,
right. That's absolutely fair. If he's able, if Eric Cressy, who's like the Yankees like physical trainer or whatever, works his magic and gets Judge a full season, and Mike Trout doesn't play a full season, I'm picking Judge. But
yeah.
Judge is basically Gallo. If he puts it all together,
It's
is
basically
Judge 27.
yes. That's exactly what I was thinking. If Judge kind of hits his peak, that's the season Aaron Judge had in 2017.
Yeah, with better defense because he's improved his defense a lot since then.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's crazy to think about. And you know, it kind of like it's crazy to think also like what kind of team the Rangers are just if they get Joey Gallo's ceiling. Like immediately that boosts them like 4 wins above the way I think of them.
Easily.
No, because it's basically like the rest of the team will still suck, but you'll have a superstar, like top 10 player in baseball, just hitting for you every day, and that instantly puts you in games.
Yeah. Other AL MVP candidates in a couple mentions in chat. Giancarlo Stanton, who is not, it definitely isn't a bad choice either, but I don't. Is he kind of stuck at
Stanton's
DH?
DH.
Yeah.
If he's gonna
So
DH,
Boone has
that's
said
gonna be hard,
that. Boone has said that there's a chance that Stan gets in the outfield, but I mean they're not. Cashman made it seem like there's no way.
Okay.
Maybe he'll get it for a few games, maybe some interleague games he plays, but he's going to be a DH in that unless he has 65 home runs. Then he's probably not going to be in the running.
Yeah.
Which he has done before in his career.
Shohei Ohtani,
2017.
dark horse MVP.
That's another health permitting.
Yeah,
one,
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
mean it like.
Sure.
And he and Gallo both, they would need a lot more health
he's
than we've seen so far.
If Ohtani is if Ohtani's a good hitter and a good pitcher, I feel like he has to win MVP, right? Like, he doesn't have to be great at either, but if he's good at both, then that's
for sure.
Unbelievable.
I feel like it's going to be hard. I feel like writers will have a hard time making a case for him if he isn't great at one of the two. You know, if he is legitimately, like, results-wise, if he's like a top 20 hitter in the AL plus a very, like, a good pitcher, that's enough. But if he's just like, if he gets like 2 wins on either side of the ball, that's not enough. I don't think for most people to say he's an MVP candidate. And 2 wins is still very good on both sides of the ball.
That's fair, because, I mean, in the end, the 4-win guy is probably not.
Right.
Yeah, he's definitely not.
Right. And honestly, like, that would, I feel like that would call a lot of MVP voting into the question if he got into the, like, if he was a serious candidate on, like, that type 4-WAR type season that I was just talking about. Which, it also seems like with Ohtani, either he hits and he's great at, hits as in, like, in the sense of, like, does well, not like hits, but like either he does well on both sides of the ball and is like a very good player, like 6-7 wins due to accumulation from both his pitching and hitting, or he really struggles with one, like he kind of did in 2020, and it puts him off track a little bit.
He's also a guy that's not good. I mean, he's going to be out for at least, if he does hit and pitch all year, he's going to be out for at least like 55, 60 games. Guaranteed, right. Because if he makes the 25 to 30 starts, they don't play him the day before and the day after. Right. So he's going to be out for a lot of games. So obviously his WAR may not be able to rack up like others.
Yeah. At the same time, I mean, if you're hitting 5 days a week and pitching quality start one, like you're gonna like that. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna be really hard pressed to not. Like, I feel like that he'll, I think WAR wise he'll be fine. Like if he's because pitching WAR is obviously a little weirder than hitting WAR. So like I think he'll be fine, like overall WAR wise. If he's hitting 5 days a week and pitching 1 day a week, I think he'll be more than fine. I think the stats will still back up his case. The big thing is just going to be, and this isn't really related to his MVP case or not directly, but like last year his velocity was horrible. People think they rushed him back. The injury obviously was brutal. So really his whole pitching thing this season is just going to come down to, does the velocity go back to where it was pre-injury, or is he going to have to relearn how to attack people? That's really what it's going to come down to.
Yeah. No, and it's interesting. It's kind of funny because we're naming all these guys for AL MVP, and even if one of them has an MVP type season, we're going to come back to the question of, well, now is this the guy that's better than Trout?
Right. Yeah. Every year.
Yeah.
Every year.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that the Angels, in theory, have 3-ish MVP candidates and can't go 500. But
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard, especially, like, well, and it's also funny that we're picking the award where hypothetically you have the most slam dunk candidate is the one where we're coming up with the most alternative options.
Right, yeah. It's really hard to not just, yeah. AL MVP is every year Mike Trout's to lose, so.
Yeah. Anyway, next question we've got. Who will be, and this is kind of a two-pronged question because you'll have to make a little bit of a leap and assume each division winner, but for each division winner, who will be the most surprising contributor on the team?
All right.
Who will be the most surprising for each division winner?
So my division winners, I think it's going to be Yankees, White Sox, Astros, Mets, Cardinals, and the Dodgers. So I just have to think of
that. For Yankees, I also have the Yankees winning the AL. Surprising contributor.
I don't know if there's necessarily a surprise on the Yankees. You know, if the Yankees are what we're expecting, that just takes everyone doing what everyone thinks already is their ceiling.
Right.
I guess CLINT, if he could take another step, then that would be a bit. Because right now he's a 9-hitter, so. If he takes another step, it could be a bit of a surprise.
Clint Frazier's your 9-hitter. I wish.
maybe Gary actually contributing and being good. That would be. I don't know if that'd be surprising. He's done it before. Like, if the Yankees are full, like the guys, they don't have that many breakout guys. They have a lot of established guys.
No,
so
that's
for sure.
Clint and maybe like Jordan Montgomery would be the two guys that come to mind. But for the most part, I don't think that there's any like Gio Urshela in 2019 kind of surprises.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Dominic Smith for the Mets, I don't hate that. I think, and
Not at all.
if you're paying attention, I don't know that it's going to come as much of a surprise because he did definitely rake in 2020.
Yes.
I like that.
I don't know. I think I'm not sure. I have the Braves in the NL East, but I don't know again if anyone on that team is going to be a surprise. If there's a surprise on the Braves, which they, especially if they get Christian Pache or Austin Riley doing well, that's going to push them over the top, and that would be the surprise of the team.
For sure. Yeah, I think Pache's a really good one for the Braves.
Sure. Yeah. For sure.
For the Dodgers, I know I just went random, but I think I think that if you're a baseball fan, like a really big baseball fan like we are, then it's not a surprising name at all. But I do think that Gonsolin is like going to be really, really, really good for them and going to be a huge part of that team. And right now, he's probably listed as their sixth starter. So so in that sense, I think he could be a surprise. But I think
you could say the same about Lux.
Yes,
like if he can find if Lux can find his way into the lineup, like he's a key candidate for that. But
that's exactly what I was thinking.
How many ABs is he gonna get?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Like for the Dodgers, it might come down to is somebody gonna get hurt at some point, and who's gonna take that spot? I mean, if Justin Turner gets hurt, then the answer is gonna be Edwin Rios.
Right.
Yeah. Like the whole next man up thing is like basically where you get your surprise guys. Like, so no starter contributing that much no opening day starter contributing that much is going to be that much of a surprise.
Right.
Maybe some guys take a huge leap, then that would be. But like for the most part, it's going to be the bench piece who comes in after an injury and is just fantastic. And that could be Lux, Rios, Gonsolin. I mean, Dodgers' depth is just ridiculous.
I'm trying to think. We got a couple. Kyle Tucker for the Astros. I'm tempted to say the Angels are gonna win that division. And I think there's a similar answer with with the Angels. It's hard to not say a pitcher, but if Joe Adele hits this year, then again you may not consider him a surprise, but he's definitely going to be one of the biggest differences between 2020 to 2021 if he can put it together.
For sure, yeah. I think there's a big difference between between surprise contributor and then like dark horse candidate, I guess. I think I don't know. I think one of those is like someone you could see breaking out, and that or like most important piece would probably be a pitcher for the Angels just because of their rotation, but most surprising contributor, I think Adele's probably a good one. I mean, Canning is another.
Matthew is actually in chat. He has said the right answer to this question, which is Michael A. Taylor for the Kansas City Royals, and we will no longer be entertained.
He is 14 years old.
Move on.
Michael A. Taylor over under 13 and a half years of age. That's the
Michael
best
A. Taylor hitting a ball 500 feet is just the most like it doesn't make sense in terms of physics. Like, he doesn't look like someone who can hit a ball 500 feet.
Because he's 12.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Let's see. I'm trying to think about the Central divisions, which, like, I don't feel like there's anybody on the Twins roster that would really be a surprise, given how, especially that lineup, top to bottom, we saw success from everyone.
Yeah, that's it. And especially with what's-his-face getting hurt, too, that kind of eliminates a big one that could have been this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Royce
What's
Lewis.
his face?
Royce
Tore his
Lewis.
ACL. Yeah.
You could
Yes,
say
Lewis.
Kirilloff for the Twins for sure, but
Yeah.
I mean he's been a top prospect too. So again, not totally a surprise at this point.
Oh, Matthew brings up a good point. Evan can't do his yearly Tim Tebow Mets one for
Yeah.
this question.
Oh no.
That's sad.
Oh,
You know, sad retirement of Timothy Tebow.
Evan says Tebow is better than Michael A. Taylor. Evan, a guy who is literally the worst hitter in the minor leagues, like literally the single worst hitter in Double-A by every standard. I promise you, is not better than a major league player.
You know, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
Especially not one that's a legal minor.
Yeah. I mean, is Michael A. Taylor legally allowed to actually sign his name on a contract without,
Right, I think
without
his
a parent,
parents,
without
yeah.
a parent's signature?
A parent,
So,
yeah, he has to have like a parent or guardian signature like next to his.
not
Yeah.
sure.
All right. The next question is one that we got in chat from earlier, which was Jim asked, who gets more plate appearances for the Yankees this year, Brett Gardner or Clint Frazier? And I know exactly what Cop is going to say.
I mean, like, Gardner is set as the fourth outfielder. Boone said he's the fourth outfielder, but my biggest fear is kind of doing what they did during the playoffs, which is Clint had a great 2 months in the regular season, then a bad week before the playoffs, and then they benched him for the playoffs. So, like, they need to treat Clint like he's an actual starter, so, like, he's allowed to struggle and not have this tiny 38-year-old at his back to replace him.
Tiny. He said this tiny little 38-year-old.
I would go with Clint 4 more starts, but because I think Clint is a starter, and I think Clint is also doesn't have that bad of an injury history. He had a couple concussions, but that's not really a recurring thing. And I absolutely could see Hicks or Judge or Stanton getting hurt. And Gardner will fill that role, but I think Clint will end up Clint will end up making more starts, especially because he can hit against righties and lefties, and Gardner is horrible against lefties.
Fair.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's Clint Frazier.
Yeah.
I hope.
Like that's
for the sake of baseball.
Yeah.
I hope it's Clint Frazier, but I'm also very much have to see it to believe it kind of person. So I don't know if I'd put money on it, but I'm praying that it's Clint Frazier just for the sanity of Yankees fans.
For sure. Yeah. Okay, we've got another one from chat. This one's from Brian. And Brian asks, after 2021, will the Angels rotation be considered a top 8 rotation in the AL? The way you actually phrased it is, like, are you over or under them being considered the 7.5 best rotation? So basically, will they have a top half rotation in the AL or a bottom half rotation?
In 2021?
Yes. After 2021, how will we view them?
After. Oh, like looking back
like
on
looking back,
2021.
will they have
If we're
performed?
ranking
Got
50,
it.
yeah. I don't know if I say over. I think I would say under. Like, I think they'll be top half. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
So
under would be their
I
top
think
half.
that the AL pitching is not good.
I don't know.
Baseball.
Yeah,
pitching.
but the Angels
AL's
pitching is not good.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
That's
so
true. It
they'll
depends
have
on Ohtani. It fully depends on Ohtani.
Yeah.
I
So
think Ohtani makes them.
They
top half.
signed Alex Cobb on purpose.
Yeah.
Like, they purposely did it.
Yeah.
They are acquired, I should say. They intentionally acquired Alex Cobb. They were like, hey, we want to do this on purpose for real. It's not a joke.
I'm trying to think.
Like, that's-
So let's try and do some hypothetical here right now. The Yankees definitely have a better rotation. I think the Rays will figure it
Rays
out
will.
enough. Like,
Rays
they
will be
will.
Rays.
Yeah.
They have a lot of talent.
Um,
Between Archer and Hill and all those kids, they'll figure
Cleveland
it
absolutely
Cleveland,
has
easy.
out. Definitely.
I don't really think it's a stretch to say I have more faith in the Royals rotation than the Angels rotation.
I'm not sure that's guaranteed, but I think that's definitely possible looking back on 2021, sure. I don't think that's ridiculous to say.
Yeah, Brian, it says exactly, being top half is a lot more reliant on the rest of the AL being worse.
Right.
That's true.
I mean, like,
Well, I mean, the West is not good.
yeah, the
pitching.
Yankees, Rays, and Cleveland are the three teams that are actually like guaranteed to be better rotations than the Angels. Beyond that,
That division has no pitching.
Yeah.
That entire division has
Yeah.
no pitching.
yeah, really. I
The
mean,
White Sox
Um,
probably going to be in there.
yeah, I think the White Sox have a
The
better
White
rotation.
Sox, I think that's probably just because Yeah,
Astros could be
Giolito
better.
is. I mean,
Giolito's better than anyone on either team.
right.
Greinke's better than anyone on the.
Yeah, I think the Astros could easily. I mean, Greinke and then Framber, that's a solid 1-2, and then they figure it out from there.
I think if they are in the top half, then they probably take the division. Like,
Yeah,
I think just because of how bad the pitching has been, people kind of forget to realize just how insane that lineup really is. Like, that's an unbelievable lineup.
like I think honestly, if I had to guess right now, I would say the Mariners' rotation could outperform the Angels' rotation in 2021. I don't think that's a huge stretch if James Paxton's healthy. I mean, they have Paxton, they have Justice Sheffield who did well, they have Marco Gonzalez, Kikuchi could do well again. I mean, not.
Paxton depends on. I mean, because Paxton can't just be healthy. Like last year, he came back from his back surgery and he couldn't throw over 94. Like that was really bad, and he was like, so like that, I hope he's able to get the velocity up. If he's not able to throw hard anymore, then he has to completely change pitcher. So
Yeah.
So like that's pretty worrisome with him.
Yeah, the
But,
Blue Jays rotation should
could-
be good too. Diego says.
it should be
I think they're gonna get mashed.
Their
especially,
back-
like so
the
many
back part of
lefties.
that rotation is still not good.
Yeah.
Robbie Ray, Stephen Matz.
Like after
So-
two,
so really-
3 through 5 are still not good.
So really, I think the Angels' rotation could be anywhere from like fourth or fifth best after this season to like, I think it could be like 12th at worst.
If they're top 5 in the American League, there's no reason they don't take the division.
Absolutely.
Because that's like, I mean, that's Canning having a solid year. That's Alex Cobb not having a 12 ERA. That's like Ohtani's probably back and in pretty damn good shape. I mean, if that rotation ends up being top 5 in the American League, there's no reason they shouldn't win 88 plus games and take that weak ass division.
Yeah.
Like that's everything going right on the pitching side for them.
Are we basically at the point where there are 3 great divisions and then 3 horrible divisions? There's one division that's not even a race. Like, I feel like the AL East is not really a race. Like at least preseason, I feel like you'll be hard pressed to find someone not picking the Yankees. But the NL West and the NL East both have 2 really, really good teams at the top of them, and then the other 3 divisions don't have any really, really good teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the NL Central's a joke. The AL Central's not good. The AL West is not good. The NL West has 2 really good teams, but like you said, one is pretty clearly going to win it.
Yeah.
The NL East is a competitive one.
The NL East
That's
is probably
probably
Yeah.
the most competitive. Yeah, that's probably the most competitive.
Well, I think the NL Central is the most competitive.
well, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
Without any team being competitive, the division is competitive.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. I gotta say right now we've name dropped Christian Javier in chat, and this is where I go on record and say that Christian Javier had no business finishing above Brady Singer in AL Rookie of the Year voting, and if you disagree with me, go look it up because you're wrong.
Because you are wrong.
Yeah.
Crazy how Willie Castro finished higher than both. So.
Okay. Anyway.
Outward Luis Robert, by the way. Willie Castro outward Luis Robert.
Luis Robert bust.
Just saying, in 32 games, he outward Luis Robert. But yeah, definitely the next Mike Trout for sure. Willie Castro outward him in 30 games. Good call.
Yeah. So anyway, keep your questions coming in chat as always. Let's see, what do we want to throw up? Next question. This one is a little bit more hypothetical, a little more fun. If you became the GM of a new team tomorrow, what team would you choose? In general, you can kind of try to avoid your own.
The Dodgers. What?
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like not including the Dodgers. Like, is that if that's a caveat, then that's a good question. But like, there's no reason anyone should not pick the Dodgers.
Yeah.
In terms of who's going to win me a championship first, yeah.
Even prospects. Like any way you look at anything, there's no way you're not picking the Dodgers. That is blasphemy to go any other direction.
Yeah. See, Evan also makes a good point.
The Yankees, because I love the Yankees, but like I don't see like. Yeah, I don't know who I would pick in terms of not. Do you mean like in terms of rebuilding a team, or just like who?
So this is Evan's question. I will say, and I appreciate him for helping ask. But I think you could take it in any way you want, and Evan does make a good point that you could become the GM of the Dodgers, unintentionally run the team into the ground, and then.
I wouldn't touch anything.
You can say that about any team you take over, though.
Yeah.
You could literally say that about any team you take over.
Yeah. I don't know.
The Dodgers have the prospect pool and the youth.
The odds of me ruining them
are
not...
You could not touch them for 10 years. Like, you could just sit back for 10 years and not do anything, and they'd be good for 10 years.
Right. You could make 0 moves for the next decade and be a really good team.
Just re-sign people.
Matthew's taking a different approach to this. He says he's a Nationals fan and he would pick the Braves, move to somewhere in the Mountain Time Zone, and trade Freeman and Acuna.
That's interesting. I think if we're doing like rebuilding teams,
well, see, Evan initially said you can't pick your own team, and then I said that's not fair to you, Scott, because you're like one of the only you're one of few fans who could probably say that he can do a better job as his own team's GM than the current GM.
I was thinking Tigers are a fun team to pick at this point. Like, if you're talking about a team with not to be a fan of, but in terms of, you have the prospect pool. And
you have 5 prospects.
Yeah.
Okay.
You do know that farm system's not deep, Cop. That's why it's only the 12th best in baseball, right?
12th best farm system. Who is their 30th best prospect? That is what I want to know.
Keith Law, what a loser. So, the problem with the Tigers, this is just me playing devil's advocate. Obviously, I want them to be good. Joking aside, they are incredibly top-heavy. They're not so top-heavy where 5 top 40 prospects doesn't equal a top 10 farm system. That's absurd. However, they are incredibly top-heavy, and after you have those 5, and then you have Joey Wentz and Isaac Paredes. And after that, there is a huge drop-off of talent that may never even make the majors. Like, there is a massive drop-off there. Then you have all of the injury problems that have gone through every single pitching prospect we have. And then, again, the fact that even if all of them hit, there's arguably, whether you agree with it or not is your own personal evaluation of the team, but there is an argument that 0 of the 25 people on this Major League roster are part of the long-term plan. 5 prospects is not going to change that if that ends up being the reality for that team. So, like, the Tigers would not. I mean, I put them ahead of like the Pirates and the Rockies, but they're not like one of those. In my eyes, and maybe I'm just pessimistic because it's my team and I'm very frustrated with how the rebuild's gone. But like in my eyes, they are not one of those. They're not like the White Sox were 2 years ago, where everyone's like, "Oh, like this is." There's no way this team is not competitive in a few years. Like, everyone knew the White Sox were on the way up. That is very far from – the Tigers have their entire future banking on 5 people.
Well, and with the Tigers – the other thing with the Tigers that I've seen you mention a couple times, Scott, is you've got the 3rd richest owner in baseball. So if you can convince him to spend some money for you – you're looking a lot better as the Tigers. I mean, sign a great shortstop next offseason, supplement your pitching staff a little bit, bring in an outfielder and a catcher. And
the Mets are absolutely a pick too, because of that same reason that you can get an owner who will just spend. If you have guarantee that you won't be outbid for anyone, then the Mets are the best pick.
Yeah, exactly.
But Padres too would be. They're great now,
Dodgers.
and they have that system that them and the Dodgers are. It's unfair to have as much major league talent as they have, and then be in the place where anybody who hits the trade market they could easily trade for because they just have such a surplus of farm talent.
For sure. Yeah, no, I think if we're doing just strictly teams that are like kind of in the bottom of their divisions and are on the come up, I think it's hard not to pick the Mariners if you limit it just to that scope. I think that's a team with a very bright future, but it's also scattered. It's not so clumped like the Tigers. The five guys are all the same-ish age and going to reach the majors within a year of each other, like all five of those guys, whereas the Mariners are very spread out. They have some young major league talent. They have some really young talent. They have people on the cusp that are going to make their debuts this year. They've shown
late
April, sadly. They have their GM obviously has made a lot of great trades. I think that is if you're doing strictly rebuilding teams, I think the Mariners are probably the most inviting if you're just looking at bottom dwellers that are trying to make it back to the top. But as a broad scope, I really find it impossible to justify anyone else but the Dodgers.
Yeah, fair enough. Can't argue with that. Okay, we got like 10 minutes left. We'll get maybe one or two questions in. So we've talked about the Braves and the Mets quite a bit. Which team, if they play with fully healthy rosters in 2021, between those two, which team wins the 7-game series?
Good question.
Um,
I say the Mets. I think the pitching on both teams is sick, but if we're talking fully healthy, so Syndergaard is back, and I mean, I love the Mets pitching. I think the Mets are just such a good team. I think the pitching for both teams is really, really good. That would be a really good series.
Yeah.
So I think that series is, well, actually, no, it wouldn't be within reach because the Dodgers have the best record in the NL. But regardless, I think that's a. I think the Mets probably win it in 7. Basically, I think it goes to 7, and then it's a baseball game, so you can just flip a coin.
I think if it wasn't for DeGrom, I would probably pick the Braves. I know that's kind of ridiculous because they have DeGrom, but I think just even if you replace DeGrom with like a very good pitcher, I think I'd probably still pick the Braves. But DeGrom is just him being able to go out and start. He's going to start 1-4, and then I mean, hell, you know, if it hits the fan there, you throw him out of the pen in Game 7. I don't know. Like I think having DeGrom is just. I think that's the biggest difference maker for either team, and I'm going to give it to the Mets just because of him alone.
Sure. Yeah, I want to say the Braves. I do, but I think to me the biggest difference between the two teams is the bullpen. You know, the Mets. They have a couple of volatile relief options, but they also have guys that are a lot more capable of success and have seen success in the past to a lot bigger extent than what the Braves have. And the Braves just lost both Melancon and Shane Green from their 2020 bullpen, which is a pretty big difference in all honesty. So, you know, the Braves are not as solid in the bullpen, and when we're talking just a 7-game series in a vacuum, that's such a huge difference maker that I think that, you know, if I had to, I would pick the Mets.
Yeah, I think I'd lean Mets, but that would be a hell of a series.
Yeah, I would really enjoy it, and that's, yeah, it's certainly a possible NLDS. One of the teams would have to get through probably both the Padres and Dodgers to get there, and the other would have a cake.
Yes.
The other would just have a cakewalk and have to beat the NL Central Division champion.
Yeah, the best case scenario is to have the second best record in the league.
Yeah,
you want to win your division, have the second best record, because first best record is.
And that's what I'm thinking is the this is kind of to take this question in a different direction and convolute it a little bit. Is the NL, assuming that the Dodgers have the most wins in baseball, is the NL East division winner in the best position in baseball heading into the playoffs? I mean, other than the Dodgers, because the Dodgers would still.
I mean, like the right the
because
NL
whoever the wild card teams are going to have to go through the Dodgers.
Right,
so they're in the worst. They're in the worst.
And they have to play a 1-game playoff. So you get a coin toss, and if you win it, you face the Dodgers.
Right. You get to play like an 83-win division winner in the first round. And then
and I mean, it's like it basically just gives you the best chance to reach the NLCS.
Right, for sure.
Which in the playoffs where you're playing a 5-game series, your odds are dramatically improved by having the best odds of making it through that series as possible.
And also the odds of winning in the DS, 5 games is, the shorter the playoff series, the more of a crapshoot, and all playoff series are crapshoots basically, even a 7-game series. But like 5, not only would you get a worse team for those 5 games, but there's also the real chance that the Dodgers lose that 5-game series because it's a crapshoot. So being able to face a bad team and then maybe face the Dodgers. Yeah, I think the best spot to be, and honestly, I'd rather be in their spot than be in the Dodgers spot.
That's what I'm thinking.
You're playing. I know anything could happen, but I'm assuming that it would be that Dodgers are winning the division, and then either the Braves, Mets, or the wild card, and the Padres are the other one. Mm-hmm. So a 5-game series against either the Braves or Mets or the Padres is way harder than a 5-game series against, in my projection, the Cardinals. I don't think that's even close. So I'd rather be in their spot than the Dodgers spot.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just assuming, we just know the Dodgers are going to have the best record in the league.
It's
just they're winning 110 games.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, no, I'm fully with you. The Dodgers, basically, they have a 50-50 shot of, really any team that comes out of the wild card is going to be a very, very good team. So the Dodgers don't get an easy playoff matchup. And there's not necessarily an equivalent in the AL unless, you're talking maybe the team that wins the AL Central is sitting in a similar-ish spot. Not really. I don't know.
I don't know. I
don't think
because the AL West
isn't that great
either. Show too.
Yeah. So I would say the team that wins the NL East, assuming they.
Honestly, for the AL, whoever plays the Minnesota Twins in the first round, easiest route to the ALCS. What a joke of a franchise! What a joke of a franchise!
I think I may have talked about this before, but the team preseason who has the best chance of making the World Series is easily the Yankees, which is why I'd be so disappointed if they don't, because their path to the World Series is a joke compared to the NL. The NL is a war. There's 4 great teams in the NL, and there's 1 great team in the AL.
No, I mean the Yankees. If the Yankees win the division, it's pretty much put a bow on it.
Yeah.
I mean, the only
thing,
I'll
be pissed.
Right. The only thing would be if the Rays somehow magically were to. I don't think the Blue Jays are winning the division. The only chance would be if somehow magically the Rays won the division instead of the Yankees. That's
the
really
Rays aren't magic, so it couldn't.
Yeah.
Happen.
Right. For sure.
But that
I just don't.
The Rays.
Yeah, they're gonna play. They're gonna play the wild card team in the first, which is has I guess a decent chance of being the Rays. They're gonna play the wild card team in the first round, which is the Rays, some combination of Rays, Blue Jays,
Angels,
Astros, and maybe a slim chance of the White Sox, which they should beat all of them. And you get who basically, in my eyes, whoever wins the AL West.
Yeah.
Which is a joke. So it's easy to have anything but a World Series appearance.
There's no excuse not to lock down the AL East, are there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and this season is the first season that I'm really entering where, like, if they don't make the World Series, it's just a full-on failure of a season.
Yeah. Start of another decade without the Yankees making a World Series. What's new?
Dumb.
Okay.
Unreal. All of your between the two of you, all three teams made the World Series last decade.
Yeah.
What? I haven't won a ring since '84. What are we talking? Like, I don't care. World Series appearances don't matter to me, Tom. I saw 3 MVPs, 2 Cy Youngs, and yeah, no, that means nothing to me. I don't give a damn.
No comment.
Yeah, damn right, no comment.
Rudy can't relate.
Get your Alcides Escobar leadoff team out of my face. Ridiculous.
Hey, Evan said he thinks the Royals could beat the Dodgers in a 7-game series. Literally anything's possible in a 7-game series. And B, 2014. That's all I gotta say.
Man.
See, I have to remind you that in 2014, the Giants were also not a good team.
Oh, I wasn't sure what you're getting at. Yeah, the Giants sucked. Not sucked. They were a wild card team. Travis Ishikawa, right? That was 2014.
Yep. Anyway, yeah, we're straight.
This conversation. Let's just bring up all the teams. Let's talk about the Red Sox now. Let's just bring up every team that beat the Tigers in the decade. That's lovely. The Orioles, yep, great team.
2012 Tigers beat the Yankees. So
you've never beat us in a playoff series in the history of your franchise.
Ooh.
Have we never?
Ooh.
Never. Not one time in the history of either of our franchise have you beat us in a playoff series.
2012.
We are undefeated against the Yankees in the
That's
playoffs.
a dub, actually. I respect
sick.
the Tigers
Especially
so
given
much
how
more
long-
than I did like 10 seconds ago.
Yeah, we're both 100+ year franchises. Yankees.
Although there was no championship series until the 60s.
For sure.
The Royals are definitely not undefeated in playoff series against the Yankees. Don't worry about the 1970s.
Oh. I was trying to think.
Literally like 4 ALCSs in a row. The Royals finally won the last one.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, we are continuing to stray even farther. But that will do it for us tonight. We thank you all for watching, for bringing your questions and your enthusiasm in the chat. As always, we appreciate you guys a ton, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Peace out.